the Commonwealth. Do not interfere. Our intentions are peaceful. We are the Brotherhood of Steel.
Picking up from where we left off in the previous episode, we emerged from the base to discover a peculiar sight. An airship. Broadcasting a message of peace? Hope? Warning?
Repeating. This is Paladin Dan's on frequency 95.
Deep into that darkness,
All Brotherhood of Steel units are to return to the Cambridge Police Station immediately for reassignment.
fearing.
Repeating.
Ultimately, after hearing that, we should be heading out to the Cambridge Police Station. But before we head out, I think we're going to be doing a few other things. Welcome to Fallout 4. My name is DanielAKA, and thank you for joining me on this completionist run. I'm going to try doing this video a little bit differently. A little bit more of a narrative style. Tell me what you think here. Before we head out, we are doing a little bit of quick work here in the base. I've made some modifications to a number of my weapons after dropping some points into the gun nut perk. Hopefully that'll pay off down the road. But from here, we are going to head back over to Diamond City because we've got a couple of quests that we need to do, and I think we need to get to it. Earlier, we had this feeling that we had a radio broadcast listened to. From the radio, we hear Ellie's voice.
This is Ellie Perkins from Valentine's Detective Agency with a message for Nick's partner. We've got a new case and it sounds urgent. Stop by the office. I'll be waiting. Setting this to repeat.
With that, we have a plan.
Perkins from
We need to head back to Diamond City to talk to Ellie regarding a case. In addition to that we also need to take a look at the detective cases in Nick's office. And we need to talk to Piper as part of the main quest line. As such, we head out from there, make a quick stop over at Diamond City. Our first stop in Diamond City is public occurrences.
Ain't got nothing better to do?
Nope, not really. Alright. After entering public occurrences, we find who we're looking for, Piper. Hopefully she has some information for us.
Well, well. Nikki Valentine walks into my office for a change.
What can I say, Piper? You, me, and hard luck all seem to run together like acid rain down an old sewer.
You, including your client here in that analogy? So, you two are finally letting me in on this little case of yours. What's the story?
Where do you want me to start? The part where Kellogg turned out to be working for the Institute? Or the part where he told me they have Sean?
The Institute. Oh boy. I've been investigating these creeps for over a year now. The Commonwealth's boogeyman. Feared and hated by everyone.
True enough.
Sometimes they snatch people in the middle of the night, and sometimes they leave old synths behind to remind us that they're out there, but to this day, there's one thing nobody really knows.
Where the Institute actually is. Or how to get in.
Exactly. But there's one person who has to know, right? The guy who just handed them Sean.
Kellogg. Huh.
What about him?
He had to have a way in and out. But, well, we both know that angle is cut off.
Yeah. Any other ideas, Nick?
Talk about a literal dead end, huh?
So, a murderer and a kidnapper gets his brains blown out by an avenging parent. Huh. Be a great ending if we didn't still have the biggest mystery in the Commonwealth to solve.
I was so blinded by anger. I just wanted him dead. Now look what I've done.
Gets his brains blown out. Huh. his brains. You know, we may not need the man at all.
You're talking crazy here, Nick. Got a fault in the old subroutines?
Look, there's a place in Good Neighbor called the Memory Den. Relive the past moments in your mind as clear as the day they happened. If anyone could get a dead brain to sing, it'll be Dr. Amari, the mind behind the memories.
Who's this Dr. Amari?
I'll let her give you her life story in person. Let's stay focused. I guess we're gonna need a piece of Kellogg's brain. Enough gray matter to bring to Amari and find out if this is going to work.
Jesus, Nick. Gross. Seriously?
I know it's grisly, but what choice do we have? We got no leads, nothing. That old Merc's brain just might have all the secrets we need to know.
Actually, I think I already have something. Kellogg had this thing attached to his head.
Cybernetics, huh? We may have just won the lottery.
Whether we're riding this crazy brain train or not, we can't all go running across the Commonwealth, so... who's coming with you?
I have to go to the Memory Den either way, if I'm going to introduce you to Amari. But if you want to head there together, just say so.
Anything else you can tell me about the Memory Den?
It's in Good Neighbor, a little slice of trouble northeast a ways. The Memory Den ain't just a fancy name, it's literal. A lot of people give up all their caps just to relive the good parts of their lives. Over and over. But not us. We're gonna try to dive deep into someone else's mind. I can meet you there, or we can head out together.
It's you and me, Nick.
Let's get going. Don't worry. We're gonna get your boy back. Just a few more steps.
While you two are out, I'm gonna do some more research. I'll be here if you need me.
With that decision made, it's time to go to Nick's office and talk to Ellie. Thankfully, Nick's office is pretty close to public occurrences. After leaving the building, we take a left, head down to a couple streets over. Note the detective sign. And from there, we find Nick's detective agency, just the way we left it. Inside, on Nick's desk, we find the detective case files, the case of Earl Sterling. We'll come back to that in a little while. Ellie, talk to me.
Miss Perkins.
I'm glad you're here. We got a new case while you and Nick were out. Ready to put on the detective hat?
Who's our client?
A fisherman whose family lives on the edge of the Commonwealth, Kenji Nakano.
Nakano? Huh. That name takes me back. My memory's a little fuzzy on the details, though.
Maybe if you bothered writing things down, Nick.
Can't do that. Wouldn't want to put you out of a job.
Huh. I'll remember that the next time you need me to console a hysterical client. Mr. Nakano didn't leave many details. Said he'd go over everything when you meet him. But if you want my guess, missing person case. Guy had a worried look a mile long.
Anything you can tell me about Kenji Nakano?
Just some impressions. He was obviously upset, but he was also in a hurry, like he couldn't stand just waiting around. I'm a friend of Nick's. He'll remember me. I need his help right away. And then he was gone. He was muttering something on the way out, but... no. I'm not sure it was important.
Come on, Ellie. Don't hold out on me. What did he say?
Well, I thought I heard him say something about a daughter and also a radio, but I might have misheard him. Not sure how the two would be connected.
I'll go check it out. Thanks, Ellie.
The Nakano residence is up in the northeast, near the coast. A small fishing house. He said that he and his wife will be waiting for you.
It's a long walk. That's how the hard cases always start.
I believe this case is going to be the beginning of the Far Harbor DLC. We'll pick that up when we can. First, Earl Sterling. Disappearance. Client, Vadim Bobrov? Another disappearing act to unravel. Earl Sterling, 25 years old, bartender at the Dugout Inn. One of the owners, Vadim Bobrov, noticed that Earl hasn't been into work for a few days. Security was called in. investigation, of course. The Institute took him as the unofficial word about town, like always. Vadim came into my office half drunk with a sob story about how he and Earl went way back, and that he just can't believe that Earl would get snatched up by the boogeymen. My gut says he's right. Earl didn't have any enemies, at least none with the motive to kill the guy. Not living with anyone either. So I have to see if Vadim or someone else at the dugout has his keys. I'd rather not have to explain to security while I was picking the lock on Earl's door if I slip up and get caught in the act. So it's obvious this needs to be our next case. On the desk here we do have a episode of Robco Fun with a game included. We start the Disappearing Act. Next up, we're going to have to find the key for Earl Sterling's house. Going through these various cabinets, we find a number of bottle caps and such, and then we have another case we need to listen to, this time on tape. Marty Bullfinch.
Dickie, you old bucket of bolts, it's Marty. I know it's been a while, but I came across a little mystery. Thought might get your sense firing. You remember that ugly grasshopper statue on top of Faneuil Hall? Turned out it's got a note in it. A note written by the son of one Shem Droud. I don't expect that name means anything to you, but the guy was a coppersmith. Way back when folks did shit like that. Apparently, this note leads straight to the old guy's stash. I don't know what's in it, but I'd sure like to know if it's still there. I'm gonna go do a little recon on the hall. If you decide you want to get the team back together, you let me know.
And with that, we start a new quest line, the Gilded Grasshopper. We'll pick that up in a later episode after we find Mr. Stirling. After leaving Nick's office and heading out into the center of town, it's evident that even the general populace has noticed the arrival of the Brotherhood of Steel and their large airship.
Hey, you see that big blimp? What's the Brotherhood of Steel? Why are they here?
Additionally, while passing under the guard, another location is brought up to our attention and added to our map.
Look, I'm telling you, it ain't just a story. University Point, that settlement on the coast, wiped out by cents.
After listening to the guard, we head out to the Dugout Inn located behind the clinic. We haven't been to this location before, so let's head inside and see what we can find.
The Brotherhood of Steel? Who are they?
No one knew Earl better than these folks.
Just
Oughta
a
ask
minute,
around,
Yippee.
see what
I am
they
in
know.
middle of story. So then, I am crossing river, right? Wearing nothing but a smile. When out comes the most dangerous of all sea monsters, a Mirelurk.
A Mirelurk? Come on. That's like 2 out of 10 points of danger tops. Now, if you want to talk something really deadly. Redeem!
I forgot you were there, you fiend. What is it?
You know what? Never mind. I'll handle it myself.
Before talking about the bartender, first we decide to head off and get some extra information regarding Earl Sterling. Initially, we have a yellow speech check to pass.
Did you know Earl Sterling?
One of my brother's old friends. Oh boy. The way those two would go on about girls, you'd think Vadim is loud now. Earl was a horrible womanizer, and I warned him more than once to leave the staff and customers alone, but my brother always stood up for him. Honestly, kinda glad he's gone. Wouldn't shut up about the new face he was going to get at the mega surgery center. Vain till the end. Anyway, did you want a room?
Interesting. So I wonder if he skipped town with the new face.
What's the story with this place?
Not much to say. We sell food, drink, and rooms. Mainly for traders that come to the area. My brother Vadim runs the bar. Scarlett's our waitress, and she helps me keep the rooms clean. As much as they can be.
Maybe later.
All right.
After talking with Yefrem, the next step is to head over and talk to his brother,
See this
Yadim.
bar? I killed a man for it. No, I kid. He is dead, though. Now, let me know when you're ready to order.
Some kind of humor there, huh?
Earl Sterling used to work here, right?
Poor Earl. Gone just like that. Such a good bartender. Good friend. Oh, terrible with women, mind you. Bull in china shop with them. You with Valentine's Detective Agency? I forgot to drop off Earl's key when I hired you people. Here, I hope you find out what happened. Security does nothing but yell at me for asking about it. Anyway...
And thus we complete our optional quest to obtain the key to Earl Sterling's house.
My brother Yefim and I make the best moonshine in the entire Commonwealth. We call it Bobrov's Best. Had to start renting out rooms just so customers had a place to safely pass out after drinking it.
Well, that pronunciation, we're definitely going to have to look at his inventory.
Sure. Let's take a look.
Good. Good.
All right. So, we have Bobrov's Best. It's not that good. Definitely not worth picking up immediately. Turning to the right, we head over and turn off the radio. And then look around at a few of the locations. Here in room number 1, we've got a ham radio to disable. Since we don't want to steal anything, we're kind of limited at the moment on what we're going to do or pick up.
The wall's sure looking good lately. Guess Abbott found some more paint.
Just stop, okay? We got our own problems.
Here in the back, we see another employee. Her name's Scarlett. To get some more information on Earl, we have a yellow speech check to attempt, which we promptly fail.
Vadim may
And she stops talking. I've run across this a couple of times, but I don't know why it's happened.
Miss?
And with that failed persuasion attempt, we then forever lose the ability to talk about Earl Sterling.
Picked this place up a few years ago. Vadim Bobrov is the loud one, Yefim Bobrov is the quiet one, and I'm the one that has to listen to them argue with each other all day.
Let me think it over.
Later, then.
Before we head outside, we gotta go to the Portadiner and give ourselves a quick try. And the result is... no pie. Oh well, better luck next time. Outside we go, over to Earl Sterling's house. To reach that house, we leave the inn, head east, and there is the house. With the key we acquired, we open it up and head inside. After getting inside, the order of the day is to begin a search.
I'll start in here. Why don't you check out the living room? Must be some hint where that boy ran off to. You know, for all the talk, I'd put the chances of this being an Institute snatch job somewhere between 0 and none. Just think about it. Earl Sterling, local assistant bartender? Why not nab the bartender himself? Lord knows Vadim sampled his own wares and weird behavior wouldn't make anyone bat an eyelash.
As we have searched the place, most containers have minor amounts of random loot. Plus, we can get a few things such as some Gwinnett ales and fan and such here. Loot it well because we're probably not going to be back in a while here.
Why not snatch someone with charm?
Yep.
Someone who could get you what you want.
I mean...
Earl could barely get you a drink by closing on a busy night.
You do have a point there, Nick. Why Earl?
No known enemies.
Ah, and next to the couch, we find a surgery receipt.
Mutants.
Nick.
No, this all screams
Nick.
accident.
Nick.
Now, what was
Nick.
Earl into that might have gotten him in this kind of trouble?
Nick. Mega Surgery Center. Dr. Crocker, resident surgeon. 1 reconstruction facial surgery. Procedure be performed upon completion of final payment.
Mega Surgery Center, huh?
Yep.
I wonder what the good doctors have to say about that.
After Nick knocks down a few things, it's time to head out and head over to the surgery center after one last final loot of the place. After heading outside, we round the front to go talk to the doctor in charge outside.
Doc.
This better be an emergency.
To get information about the receipt, we must pass a yellow persuasion check.
Let's see what
First,
I can spare.
let's take a look at his inventory, see if he has anything of note for us. Does not appear to be. Nothing that'll help us with this here. So I think the better course of option is to pop a quick Great Mentat. Make sure that we have sufficient charisma. And with that, then talk to the doctor again to make sure that we pass
Can't
this.
keep the engine running if you give it the wrong fuel.
Hey, Doc.
We offer a wide variety of medical treatments.
Do you know anything about this receipt?
Let me see. This is Dr. Crocker's deplorable handwriting, all right. Looks like Earl Sterling was one of his patients. The procedure noted here is mundane. Low-risk cosmetic work. Dr. Crocker never performed it, however. Said Earl vanished before he paid. Now, let's get back to talking about your medical needs.
With a somewhat difficult persuasion check, we can find more information out about Doc Crocker.
Where is Doc Crocker?
Last time I saw him, he had to get something out of the surgery cellar. Probably just had to wash some needles or move some storage around. Anyway, we should get back to your immediate medical requirements.
At this point, we gain the optional quest to obtain the key to the surgery cellar. Let's go ahead and talk to the doctor.
I need to get into the cellar, Doctor.
What does this look like? A public outhouse? You know what? Don't answer. Why on earth would I let you down there?
At this point, we're given the option to either threaten him, tell him we're investigating a missing person, or bribe him with 100 caps. Let's go ahead and tell him about the investigation.
I'm investigating a missing person, Doctor. And I think the trail leads to your basement.
A missing person? You're talking about Earl, aren't you? You can't honestly think... You know what? Fine. If it'll put the matter to rest. Here, go see for yourself. But if I find one instrument out of place, you'll be getting the bill.
Now, with the key, we have the option of going to the front door and unlocking the Mega Surgery Center. However, this is not where we need to go. If we do go down here, we will find various blood splatters on the ground, various things we can steal, which we're not going to. But instead, we need to head back outside to enter the cellar. Now, after heading outside, we proceed to go to behind the doctor. It initially took me actually multiple minutes to discover this, but you'll see the blood trail, tracks of blood.
Where does this blood come from? It goes right into the basement.
And downstairs, we need to go. So, surgery center and cellar.
Oh, Earl. You've really been a handful, you know. But I think we're just about done. Our little mistake is finally going to be corrected.
Doc Crocker,
naughty.
what are you getting yourself
You're
into?
not supposed to be down here, but that's okay. I can fix that. I can fix anything.
What did you do to Earl Sterling, Doctor?
What did I do? I didn't do anything. It was Earl. It was Earl who didn't want to be happy. Good patients get a nice new face. Bad patients bleed all over the floor because they want to screw up their surgeon's life.
At this point, we have 4 options available to us. We can try and end this peacefully, or we can try and arrest him, both of which are moderate level persuasion checks. We can ask him about Earl's death, or we can resort to violence. With the countdown on our Great Mentats counting down, we are going to choose to try and end this peacefully.
You made a mistake, but you can still do the right thing, Doctor. Just think this through.
Drop the weapon, Doc. Haven't enough people suffered today?
You're right. There's one thing I can do. Only one thing is going to make this all better. I can fix anything.
And thus ends the tale of Doc Crocker and the case of the disappearance of Earl Sterling. Doc Crocker has a key to his house on him.
Is that Dr. Crocker?
And unfortunately, for some reason,
I think... Where are you going?
as soon as we
I'm
move,
reporting this.
the dialogue stops where something should have happened.
I have to
But
clean up this mess.
we're going to go ahead and not worry about that. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit of looting real quick. Grab some basic stuff and Doc Crocker's
Anything
key.
useful?
We've already got Earl's key. And then from here, we're going to go and head outside, back over to Nick's place, and talk to Ellie.
Guess we ought to give her the news.
Ellie?
So, you two find out where Earl Sterling ran off to?
Why was I looking for Earl Sterling again?
To help the folks down at the dugout inn get some closure about their friend, for one. That, plus a pile of caps when it's all said and done.
Earl never went anywhere. Doc Crocker killed him during a botched surgery.
Crocker killed Earl? Gone as long as he was, I figured maybe Raiders or the Institute, but Crocker? Where's the doc now? Rotting in a cell, I hope.
Crocker killed himself. He couldn't take the guilt.
Goodness. I'm sorry you two had to go through that. Here, take this. Sounds like you earned it. I'll send word along. Let everyone down at the dugout inn know what happened. Shame it couldn't be better news. Thanks again for closing this one out.
And thus completes the disappearing act, and in turn solves the case of the disappearance of Earl Sterling. However, before we go, Nick has something he wants to talk to us about.
Hey, let me ask you something.
Sure, ask away.
It's just, with everything that's happened with you and your family, it's a whole hell of a lot to process. I wanted to make sure you're holding up all right.
Doesn't really matter. I'm here now. I've just got to deal with that.
Good attitude to have. Not the way I felt. Took me a long damn time to get a feel for this place. Thank goodness I found Diamond City. It's got its flaws, sure, but it beats the hell out of anywhere else in the Commonwealth. Of course, when I took up there back when, people were just as scared of the Institute as they are now. Maybe more. The massacre of the CPG was still pretty fresh in people's minds at that point, and folks were still losing sleep over the broken mask. Plenty of people assumed I was just a saboteur, moving in to melt down the reactor or poison the drinking water. But at the time, they couldn't exactly turn me away.
Broken mask?
This was long before I'd moved to town, but apparently some gentleman type shows up in Diamond City, heads down to Power Noodles. Guess he didn't like the food because he pulled his pistol and opened fire on the folks enjoying theirs. When security finally put enough holes in him to drop him, they say he was full of servos and sprockets, just like yours truly. Seems he malfunctioned, went berserk. It was the first time people realized that synths had stopped looking like me and started looking like them. Considering what these folks went through, I felt real lucky they let me in the front gate at all.
Massacre of the CPG? What's that?
The Commonwealth Provisional Government. Years back, a group of settlements tried to get together and form a coalition. Every settlement with even a hint of clout sent representatives to try and hash out an agreement. Only the Institute sent a representative of their own, a synth. The man killed every rep at the talks. The Commonwealth Provisional Government was over before it even got off the ground. I took up in town not long after. I was damn lucky they didn't just tell me to scram right then and there.
Why'd they let you in?
Because I'd rescued the mayor's daughter. Gal of about 15. Pride and joy of the mayor back then. Man by the name of Henry Roberts. The young Miss Roberts decided she'd run off with some caravan hand she'd, known for an evening. Turns out the guy was part of a gang of kidnappers. I didn't even know who I was rescuing, just stumbled on a crying girl and 4 toughs. I took her home and the mayor dubbed me a hero. Offered me a place in town. Lots of folks protested, said I was a spy, but he wouldn't have it. Taking up in the city was tricky at first, but I never tried to hide what I was, and people seemed to warm to that.
You took down 4 guys by yourself?
Well, I didn't have to. Back then, synths were even more of an unknown quantity than they are today. I told them I was rigged to explode and started going beep, beep, beep. Hardest part of that rescue was keeping from laughing as they climbed over each other to get away.
Was it hard settling in?
Well, they sure didn't make it easy. I started off doing the jobs no one else wanted. I got more banged up being Diamond City's handyman than I ever did living out in the ruins. But I guess folks never forgot I rescued the mayor's daughter, so they started coming to me when people went missing. Wife runs off with a new paramour and takes the rent money with her. Talk to the synth. An upset father decides moving him and the kids to Good Neighbor in the dead of night's not the worst damn idea since the bomb? Go get Nick. After a while, the jobs got so backed up, they didn't even ask me to do the handyman stuff anymore. Hell, I was so happy to do it, it was months before I started charging anyone. I never stopped being Nick the Synth, but it was Nick the Detective folks came to see. It was about then that things finally started feeling normal. It took me a long time to realize that home is where you make it. And with some time and effort, this place can be home for you, too. That's a long story, but I hope it helps. Want to get moving?
And with this, we come to the end of this particular episode. I hope you all have enjoyed this one, and I hope this new style works out. We're going to try at least a few more episodes this way. But we will pick this up in the next episode, where hopefully we will begin the next DLC. So I hope you all have enjoyed. As always, my name is Daniel. Thank you for watching. You have a good day.